So today we study time dependent Schrodinger wave equation. Okay, time dependent Schrodinger wave equation. In the last class we studied time independent Schrodinger wave equation. Okay, so before starting, what we consider displacement of a wave function at any instant of time t can be written as psi naught into e raised to minus I omega into t. This we know that the displacement of a wave function at any instant of time t can be given as wave function at a time t can be given as psi equal to psi naught into e raised to minus I omega t. We have to differentiate this. Once if we differentiate this, differentiating equation number 1, we get psi naught as a constant, e raised to minus differentiation of e raised to minus I omega t will be same, and again differentiation of this will be minus I omega. This is nothing but what? This is nothing but it is psi. This is nothing but psi. Therefore, I rewrite it as d psi upon dt equal to psi into minus I omega, or I write it as minus I omega into psi, right? So dou psi upon dou t, after differentiating we got this. Now what we do? We find out what is the value of omega. We go for the so that can be found by treating. We know that E equal to what? H nu, or this I rewrite it as W, that is capacity to do work is nothing but again H nu, and nu is nothing but frequency, that I write it as 2 pi into nu upon 2 pi. Is that okay? So nu is a frequency, right? So I write instead 2 pi nu can be written as what? Omega upon 2 pi, right? Therefore omega can be rewritten as 2 pi upon h into w. So this is one of the value which we get after substituting energy as a h nu, right? Again another parameter which we have to focus is minus I. So minus I can be written as minus I square upon I, right? This is same. One I will get cancelled. Okay, what I do, minus I square is nothing but minus 1 divided by I, or it is minus of minus 1 is, or 1 by I, that is minus I can be written as minus I. Got it? So what we do, we substitute both the values in this equation. We get that dou psi upon dou t equal to minus I can be written as 1 by I. Omega is nothing but what? It is 2 pi upon h into w equal into psi equal to, right? Sorry, into psi. Now what I do, I will find out what is w into psi. W into psi can be written as, that is h, this h and I, upon this will be 2 pi multiplied by dou psi upon dou t, right? When I rewrite this equation, I get this. Now what we do, we got on this value, right? Now this value w into psi, what we have to substitute into the time independent Schrodinger wave equation which we studied in the last class. In the time independent Schrodinger wave equation can be given as delta square psi plus 8 pi square m into divided by s square into w minus v into psi. If the potential becomes 0, that is for a free particle, also we have studied this, for a free particle this will be 0, right? Okay, now what we do, I rewrite this equation as del square psi plus 8 pi square m upon h square, that is w into psi minus 8 pi square m into v h square into psi equal to 0, right? So now what I do, I again in this equation I substitute this value, that is del square psi plus 8 pi square m upon h square. What is w into psi, that is h into I upon 2 pi into dou psi upon dou t minus 8 pi square m upon h square into v of psi equal to 0, right? Now what I do, I write del square psi minus 8 pi square m upon h square into v of psi is equal to this I take into this side, right? So RHS side, that is minus 8 pi square m upon h square into h into I upon 2 pi into dou psi upon dou t, right? Now what I do, 8 pi square m upon h square, I take a common here. What it will be, it will be h square upon 8 pi square m into del square minus v into psi equal to same. Remaining this term minus 8 pi square m upon h square into h into I upon 2 pi as it is dou psi upon dou t, right? Just observe here, this parameter and this parameter will get cancelled, right? Remaining term I write h square upon 8 pi square m into del square minus v into psi is equal to what? What are the terms here? Remember, hi into 2 pi into dou psi upon dou t, right? Sorry, I forgotten here minus symbol, right? Minus, right? So now what I do, the whole term, this whole term and this whole term, I interchange. What will happen? Minus will be plus, that is hi upon 2 pi into dou psi upon dou t, right? And this will be what? Equals to, this will be minus h square upon 8 pi square m into del square. This will be plus v whole multiplied by psi, right? So this is nothing but this is time dependent Schrodinger wave equation.